everybody. My name is Deb Rhymer, and this is Music Makers, our show that celebrates original music and the wonderful artists that make original music. And I'm really pleased today to have the wonderful Paul Tobin here in the studio with us. Paul has a long career, many decades of experience in the music business. He's a singer, songwriter, musician, great guitar player, and we're really pleased to have you here today. So thanks for coming.
So happy to be here. Thanks.
Great. So Paul came to us from Newfoundland to Saskatchewan and finally to British Columbia and right to the West Coast to Victoria, BC.
Yes.
So what I'm wondering is, Victoria is your home now. How did you end up, from Newfoundland, growing up in Newfoundland, and then to Saskatchewan and finally here?
So yes, I did grow up I was born in Corner Brook, Newfoundland, and raised actually in Goose Bay, Labrador. I've always considered Goose Bay to be my home.
Oh,
really.
I didn't know that.
And we were raised on a U.S. Air Force base. Anyway, we did move back to Newfoundland though when I was about 11. And then just 3 years later, when I turned 14, I left Newfoundland to start, in my mind, it was a music career.
Wow, that's young.
So I went to Toronto and Montreal, Ottawa, and I was a street musician basically for until I was, about 18 or 17 or 18 years old.
That's unbelievable. So how did you end up then ending, to the prairies?
Yeah, just, it was, hitchhiking was a thing back then, and you could do it quite successfully. And so I did that. I hitchhiked all over the country lots of times, and I went through Saskatchewan, and it was a good experience. And even though I went on to Alberta, I felt the vibe of Saskatoon called me back. And I ended up going back there and living there for 27 years.
Wow, yeah. 27 years.
27 years, played a lot of music there, was involved in a club there called Buds on Broadway, hosted a jam for many years there, a blues jam. And did a lot of opening acts with people like David Wilcox and Katie Lang, the Whalers, and just
wonderful.
Really had some really great opportunities there. So it was a great experience.
So how did you end up, I'm done in Saskatchewan and now I'm heading west.
Now heading west, so I left in 2011 and moved to Ladner. Again, it was in pursuit of musical things, and I had recorded a couple albums in Nanaimo at Rick Salt's studio, actually.
Right.
And had been involved with some projects with my good friend Brian Plummer, the late great. And I think at that point, I decided that I was going to stay in BC regardless of where I was going to be living. And I moved around quite a bit. So, I lived in the Okanagan, I lived on the island. I was on the island for COVID, and so that was, lockdown scene. I was on Sunshine Coast, did a lot of writing, bought a piano. I thought if I'm going to be locked down, I'm going to learn a new instrument. So I started playing piano, really for the first time in my life. And I'm a terrible piano player, but I love it.
I'm really interested. You're going to do some songs for us today. Now I know that the first song that you're going to do for us is called Dance with Grace.
Right.
And I know you told me that that's about your late niece. Mm-hmm. So tell us about that song.
So Grace is actually my great niece, and so daughter of my oldest sister's daughter. Right. And Grace lived a traditional Inuk lifestyle in Labrador, where she was raised, and she was an artist. She incorporated her culture into her art, and she was a fabulous dancer, and certainly would have gone on to do a whole lot more had not she'd been afflicted with cancer and passed away a couple of years ago. But she was a remarkable human being, compassionate, all the things that you want to write a song about. She had all those attributes. And in fact, just before she passed, she had finished her cancer treatment. She was back home. Unfortunately, she relapsed, but before the relapse, she was doing a school project and it was called, she was asked to do a project on somebody you admired, and it was on me.
Aww.
So she never really got to finish that project, but her mom sent me everything that she had done, and it was, it touched my heart, of course, and so I knew I was going to write a song for Grace, and so I wrote Dance with Grace.
And was she a dancer?
She was.
Wow.
A terrific dancer.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she was amazing.
Just look at Grace up on the stage, just being herself, doing a dance for the ages, the drum in her hand. She moves and waves that'll leave you thinking, feeling for days. And you can look all you want all over the place, you'll not find anyone who dances like Grace. She moves like water, a river or stream, or big like an ocean, gives hope to your dreams, courage and strength beyond her years. She moves in slow motion as the audience cheers. Well, you can look all you want all over the place, you'll not find anyone who dances like Grace. Sometimes life can be dark and hollow, really feels like there's no road to follow. These are the times that we must come together and all do the dance like birds of a feather. You can look all you want all over the place. Well, these are the times and this is the space. So let's all come together now. Let's all come together. Let's all come together and all dance with Grace. You can look all you want all over the place, you'll not find anyone. No, you'll not find anyone. You'll not find anyone who dances like Grace. Dances like Grace.
That was wonderful, very touching.
Thank you.
I'm sure she was really important in your life and made a big impact in
Still is.
in your
absolutely.
life. And
She did.
you think about her when you sing that song.
Always.
So the next song, I noticed the title is called Love More. Of course, we all need more love. What is Love More all about?
It's about, I mean, when I was young, I wasn't homeless, but I was, I guess, at some stages I chose to be homeless, but it was different then. Like, you could stay in a hostel, you could go out and make enough money for the day to pay for your hostel and get yourself a meal, and it was, it was much easier. But I think the state of homelessness that we're witnessing now is, I think sometimes people are stifled with this sort of stigma of that it's all about drugs or, and addiction, and it's not, because there's people out there that are working who are homeless. So I think it's, a pretty sad state right across the country, and I think everybody in every city in Canada is seeing this and thinking like, wow, where's this gonna go? But what I have always remembered from my time when I was young, and I think I see it even now today, is that, when nobody's looking, when no one's got your back and no one's looking out for you, they're taking care of each other. And there is this love that exists that is probably, a bigger love and a stronger love than a lot of people maybe ever experience in their life. And it's because they are taking care of each other, they're in dire straits, and there's a certain kind of love amongst the hopeless and the homeless. And that's what that song is about.
I would certainly agree. I was just thinking about when you were busking and that. It's not like nowadays where you have to have a busking license.
Right, yeah.
You could just busk and do your songs.
It was a much freer lifestyle for sure, yeah.
All right, I'm looking forward to Love More.
Love More.
Sitting on that concrete floor, my eyes are tired and my body's sore. Don't look away, don't close that door. Hopeless, love more. Late at night, these streets can be mean. You don't know the things I've seen. So much trouble, that's for sure. Hopeless, love more. Throw some change to my bowl. Just remember I'm someone's child. I still have dreams as my thoughts run wild. You see me sitting on that concrete floor. Eyes are tired, body's sore. Don't look away, don't close that door. Hopeless, love more.
Okay, I think this one might be back to your roots.
Definitely.
Fisherman's Angle. That's an interesting title. So is that about Newfoundland? Is that about?
It is, because before I left Newfoundland, of course, the demise of the fishing industry happened while I was there, and it was already a really desperate place to live, I guess you could say. Most young people, everyone that I went to school with, everyone left Newfoundland. Nobody stayed there because there were no jobs, there was no industry. It was just a given that you were going to leave and go to Alberta or to Ontario, to the mainland, as they used to say. And but couple that with the demise of the fishing industry, it was just this crippling economical situation, and it was unjust, because it was really caused by a unsustainable international fishing industry that a lot of countries, I'm not going to name the countries, but were taking huge liberties in terms of the amount of fish that they were taking. And when they're fishing right outside the 200-mile limit outside of Newfoundland, which was Newfoundland's jurisdiction, there wasn't much you could do if you had trawlers hauling drag nets and taking everything. So it literally is a great example of humans. It's greed, that's what it is. It's money driven, and it's irresponsible fishing, but it led to a crushing economical blow to the people of Newfoundland. And it was a really sad time. It was devastating, because there was people there and families who's probably had 3 generations of fishermen, and their sons had planned to take over from dad's dad's fishing boat, and they just couldn't. And suddenly this just came to this abrupt halt, and you had people that weren't necessarily educated to do other things. So it was a huge shift. But I think what I'm saying, in this song, is that even though all that happened, and even though it was unjust, the people of Newfoundland, they accepted the responsibility that they had to shut down the industry so that the stocks could recover. And I think that's what drove me to write that song.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a great song. I can't wait to hear Fisherman's Angle.
Fisherman's Angle.
Take it away.
Winners, they harvest the life from the sea. Oh, the catch once was plenty, but the ships were too many. Now who'll pay the price, boys? Nothing's for free. son, now I'll tell you. How can I explain this? But it looks like a big mess for the whole fishery. The big foreign ships took it all, for they must not have heard the call. Or do they think we don't have the balls to lay down the law? They've taken our cod stocks right back to their own docks. They'll settle for nothing short of the lot. Oh, the catch once was plenty, but the ships were too many. Now who'll pay the prize buys? Nothing's for free. Our old fishing ways have seen better days, and the future's uncertain for our families. But we've never been quitters or looked at life bitter. I guess we'll pay the price buys, nothing's for free. From skipper to skinner, all of them breadwinners, they harvest the life from the sea. Oh, the catch once was plenty, but the ships were too many. Who'll pay the price buys? Nothing's for free. Well, who'll pay the price buys? Nothing's for free. I guess we'll pay the price buys. Nothing's for free.
I love that song. And I'm sure the people of Newfoundland would really appreciate that song, and the people in the fishing industry would really appreciate the sentiment behind that song. So
It was written from the heart, for sure.
I love it. So next up, one last song, and I thought about it. And I thought, I have no idea what this is about. Yellow, yeah, bees. At first I thought bees. Yellow on Black. Mm-hmm. So, what led you to write this song, and what's it all about?
When I wrote that song when I was traveling a lot, I was doing a lot of road work. I was playing with a band called Tobin, Grace and Reed, which morphed into RPM. But we were doing a lot of shows. At one point we did 52 shows in a row with no nights off.
Whoa!
It was absolutely insanity. We were younger and more resilient.
I'll say.
But it was just like all those images of driving down the highway, yellow stripes on black asphalt, and all this sort of imagery, and sitting in hotel rooms at the end of shows. I think most entertainers or musicians have had that experience where you're sitting in your room and you feel lost, like you feel like, what am I doing? It's as you well know, mm-hmm. it can be a lonely life. Yeah. So sitting in a hotel room in Canmore one night, it all just sort of came to me that I wanted to write a song that was brutally honest, and I felt vulnerable, and I was lonely, and I just wanted to write that song to sort of just to have a song in the can that was something that was vulnerable.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear it. Yellow on Black.
Yellow on Black, all in a straight line.
try to make you understand. Another day is a day gone by. Wasted time can rob you blind. Think I was married to the shoulder of the road. Every story is never untold. And only two colors in my mind, yellow on black in a straight line. There ain't no cure for loneliness, good old-fashioned emptiness. Alone in a room, blue moon just shines. Well, I've seen this place 1,000 times.
Paul Tobin, thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing your stories, all your wonderful original music.
Thank you so much for having me, Deb.
It was great to have you. And while I'm here, I'd like to also thank John McKenzie, all the folks at Rogers, and of course the wonderful volunteers that work behind the scenes